Fretboard knowledge is about finding the notes that you want to play on the fretboard in a way that's playable for you. So if you're improvising over a Dm7 chord, then of course you want to see the scale that you're going to use on the Dm7 chord, but you also want to see maybe the Dm7 arpeggio, or maybe you want to use an F major triad in your solo, then you have to see that. It's really about seeing the notes that are available and also seeing the notes that you want to play in your solo, exactly like Metheny is explaining here.
I can like put my finger on any note that's a green light. And when it switches to E minor, then there's a bunch of yellow lights.
When we talk about knowing the fretboard, then we talk about knowing the notes, but that's actually also about knowing the different useful groups of notes that we need when we're playing. So it's not enough to just know where the G sharp or the D flat is. It's just as important that you know where you can find all the important scales and arpeggios, triads, and all the stuff that you need when you're improvising. So in this video, I'm going to go over some exercises that are ranging from being really simple to really playing freely around the neck, and are gonna help you develop just that. My name is Larsen, learn jazz, make music. A good place to start with this is to just play major scales on one string. So in the beginning you probably want to start on the root, so I'm using a G major scale. If you start on the 6th string, then you start on this G and then you move up the neck. This is really helping you think ahead and also just seeing where the notes are, not only in a position, but also in the next position. And really just helping you having an overview that's going along the neck and not only within that one position. Of course, when you're playing the scale like this, then you should also know the notes in the scale. You really need that because later you're gonna check out some diatonic arpeggios and you need to know what is the material, this note, what degree is it in the scale, and what triad or what arpeggio do we find here. So that's important to already start incorporating that into your playing. The next thing you can do is to try and do the same thing, but then start on another string and don't start on the root. So in this case, I'm starting on the A string and the lowest fretted note I have is a B. So I'm starting on the B and I'm just playing the G major scale up the A string. This is of course just the scale. Now we can start moving on to taking some of the useful groups of notes that we need for our solos and move those around along the neck. When you're improvising over a chord, then you're of course using a scale that fits with the chord in this context, but you're not only playing the scale, you're also playing some arpeggios, and that can be the arpeggio of the chord itself, but it can also be some upper structure triads or other types of arpeggios. So it's important to have a good overview of the different arpeggios that you find within the scale. A solid place to start is to just check out the diatonic triads. So if we have the G major scale, if I play the diatonic triads of G major, starting again just with the G here, then I can play them so that I play the root on the 1st string, or the 6th string in this case, and then for the next string I'm going to play 2 notes, so the 3rd B and the 5th D, and then I move that up the neck. So that means I'm playing G, B and D for the G major triad, and then for the A minor, A, C, E, and then I move that up. I keep track of the triads that I'm playing all the time because I kind of have like a visual reference, so I know that a major triad looks like this and a minor triad looks like this, a diminished triad looks like this. And that way I'm learning some visual patterns that I can use when I'm improvising, but I'm also keeping track of where I am in the scale and what chord is found on that degree. When you start, you want to do this, of course, just starting from the root like I'm doing now from G. Quite quickly you want to move on so that you can start on the other strings as well, and so that you know that if I'm playing a B here, then the triad that I need to play is a minor triad, because that's what's found in this scale on this scale degree. And that way you're really combining a lot of different information and tying it all together so that you can access that and use that when you're improvising. And you want to check this out with 7th chords as well, of course. So in this way you can build a lot of different exercises, not something that you need to drill or build speed with, but just creating an overview and really tying together all the different pieces of information that you have. And in that way you're building your fretboard overview. And then we can start moving around freely and not just on a certain string set. Now that you've played your scales in positions and along the neck, and you've also explored how to play diatonic, triads and arpeggios both along the neck and in positions, then you can start combining that and move around freely on the neck while you're doing exercises. And I really think this is important that you don't have like one set way to do this. I don't really practice like that. The way that I practice when I'm practicing technique is that I'll start on the lowest note that I have available. So for my G major scale, that's this E. And then I'll move up to the highest note, so the high D here. And then I'll just play in whatever way that sort of seems to fit right now. And of course, I probably have similar habits, but most of the time I kind of try to just change it up and do different things. And in that way, kind of think while I'm playing the exercise. And in that way also really use my overview of the neck and also try to get into some corners that I don't normally get into. And of course, I do the same thing when I'm practicing other exercises. So I'll do the same playing seventh chords or triads or different patterns of those, or maybe even chordal harmony or shell voicings. Besides playing all these exercises, I think it's also important that you work on this while you're actually improvising. So another exercise that's not a scale exercise would be to take a song that you know really well or a simple progression and then try to improvise over that and move around the neck. Force yourself to change position or move in a certain direction and still keep improvising, still trying to make music, because it's important that you take it to a level where you have the freedom to make music. And I think that's also just a level that you're never really going to get to unless you start working on actually coming up with lines and improvising while you're changing position. If you want to check out some more videos where I'm talking about how to develop an overview of the fretboard and different ways of working with fretboard visualization, then check out this short playlist where I have a few videos on this topic. That's about it for this week. Thank you for watching, and until next week.